Hello, and welcome to a brand new synth soundset walkthrough with me, the Unfinished. Something's a little different, isn't it? We've had a new logo. Ooh, exciting. And now we have a new camera that I'm recording with. Much better quality camera than the thing I had sat atop my screen before. So hopefully it'll just make things a little bit more pleasant to look at, even though it's my face. Never mind. There's some pretty things in the background. Anyway, what we're here today for is a brand new synth soundset. I haven't done one of these in 6 months, so this could be a bit ropey. It's RePro-1 and RePro-5 Structure. We're looking at RePro-1 in this video. And what Structure is about is basically it's modern analog essentials. So it's a very contemporary sound, and it's a sound that's been inspired by a sort of crossroads stroke hinterland where neoclassical scoring by the likes of, say, Oliver Arnolds, Niels Frahm, Patrick Jonsson, Michael Price, people like that, meets contemporary electronica and techno. People like John Hopkins, Rival Consoles, Apard, Clark. All these guys are sort of melding ideas from the world of techno and electronica and sort of modern contemporary film scoring, but doing it in a minimalist way and a very analog way. And that's what this soundset's about. If any of that's made any sense, good, but let's try and make a bit more sense with just listening to some sounds. So let's go and look at the screen. And here we have it, this beauty, RePro-1. Oh, it's so lovely. It really is a fabulous emulation of the Pro 1 synthesizer. But let's start with, as you can see, there's only 2 ARPs, so we'll just kick off with this one. Nice and simple. Not very much of those, but plenty of bass lines. And this is RePro-1. It's got a fantastic sequencer. It's got a fantastic low end. So there's lots of bass lines, basses, sequences, drum loops. We're talking monosynth stuff as well. So there's a few keys and leads in there that are monosynths, but the mod wheel doing lovely stuff. That's a very dirty mod wheel, that one. Probably because it's playing with the folds on the wave shaper there. Love the low end of this synth. So obviously, despite the fact that obviously the Pro 1 synth is a very sort of old school classic from the early days of analog synthesis, well, the mass produced stuff at least, we're very much not trying to recreate that sort of sound here. We're trying to use old synths to make new sounds, essentially. So it shouldn't have too much of a retro feel. This is basically what I'm trying to say. But it does have that unmistakable... No, don't hit the damn microphone. Good start. That unmistakable Pro 1 sound. With a few bells and whistles added on, of course, via the lovely effects section. And, of course, the sequencer. Let's try the mod wheel on this. Nice. Things I love about RePro-1, even though it's got got, actually I think on this one I probably have got a, no. So even though it's not tuned harmonically, there's just this harmonic notion in the sound of RePro-1. You hear it? It's just lovely, and I just love the way that RePro-1 captures those natural analog harmonics. Acid here. A kind of nice relaxed acid. I do love the filter on this. Okay, so we'll move on to basses, which there are plenty. Very rich sub bass there. A lot of these basses are quite punchy and short because that's very sort of a common vibe that you get from that sort of techno electronic feel. Very pitchy. I quite like putting a little bit of atmosphere, a little bit of reverb on some of these basses. It just really rounds them out. That's nice and creepy. Oh, lovely. We approve. Told you there was lots of basses. So if you want low end, you've got it. Let's try the module on this thing, it could be fun. Nice. I haven't played some of these for a little while. Nice bit of sub. Stop saying nice. Let's have a look at through the window. Not very many keys, because obviously there's a limited amount you can do with a monosynth key. A little bit of a sort of physical modelling vibe going on there. And then leads, we've got a few leads because everyone likes a monosynth. They do have a kind of ambient vibe, quite a few of them. That's rather fun. Very techno. Almost going back to sort of rave hardcore vibes. Punchy. That's quite nice. Bass vibe, isn't it? Could probably use that quite nicely as a bass. This was, well, it loses something down there, so that's maybe why it's a lead rather than a bass. Cool, nice bit of distortion on that to give it a real sort of atmosphere. Lovely. So, and we've got some loops, a handful of loops, and some kicks and hat sequences, essentially, nothing too complicated. And this gives you the option, of course, of being able to write an entire track just using RePro-1 Structure. If that's your bag. More kicks. We're only getting kicks. Yeah, just the loads of... There are hats in there, I promise, but the way we're doing things today, we're not finding them. So pads, not very many pads, because, you know, monosynth pad can only do so much. Should we see what the module is? Brings a bit more aggression into play. Sorry, I cut that off very quickly there, didn't I? That was ugly, Matthew. Very ugly. And although pads here are only really sort of monosynth pads, that added legato element is quite nice. That brings something that you don't necessarily get from a polysynth pad. Okay, I'm looking up at the screen up there at my own face. I should be looking at the camera. I do apologise. What an amateur! It's new though. It's new, you know. Nice lush harmonics there. With the previous camera, it's just sat on top of my computer and I can't look at anything else. There's no screen to look at, but you know, I could be a bit less vain, eh? Just a couple of soundscapes, but they're pretty much just sort of padscapes as opposed to anything very complicated. Sequences, we've got a few of these. A mixture of atmospheric stuff and also sort of driving rhythmic stuff. I mean, these are great. You just stick a 4/4 beat under these and they just get you going. But of course, even though these sounds are predominantly inspired by this sort of neoclassical techno crossover thing, they're going to be great for film scoring as well if you just want some really sort of punchy synths in there. It's got a lot of punch and atmosphere going on. And then finally we're on to the synths. So this is the stuff that didn't quite fit anywhere else. Not quite leady enough to be a lead, not quite bassy enough to be a bass, not quite paddy enough to be a pad. Atonal chord stuff there. Old school techno almost. Nice sort of accent synth. You can't really play anything melodic with it, but it adds some nice depth in there. Well, there we go. We've looked at RePro-1 Structure. There's 150 patches in RePro-1 Structure. There's also 150 patches in RePro-5 Structure, which we'll be doing the video for very shortly. And you will be able to buy them both together. So that's a big collection of 300 patches, because obviously if you own RePro-1, you own RePro-5, they come together. So there will be the option to buy them separately at first, but I don't know. Maybe I'll remove that eventually as an option. Who knows? I'm a bit of a flippity gibbet like that. So it's basically a nice collection of really sort of modern analog sounds with lots of depth and atmosphere and punch and dynamism, stuff like that. It's good to be back. I hope I haven't been too boring. Apologies that my voice is slightly nasal today. I have some sinus issues, which probably makes me sound a bit sort of, I'm doing a didn't downset. But essentially, this is my first sound set in 6 months, so I'm quite pleased to be back. And yeah, well, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'm just going to go and do the next one now. So I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching. Hope you buy it and enjoy it, and I'll be back with some Zebra stuff not too long from now as well. Exciting times. Hello, goodbye.